masculine, very strong masculine energies of April 2017 have, with the May full moon, that lovely moon feminine energy, there was an influx of the divine feminine back again, just to create that lovely balance, to kind of rub a soothing balm over the wounds that we had from the turbulence of spring 2017, March and April. And it almost felt like, you know, a gold star. I felt like the universe, the angels were giving me a gold star with that new moon, saying thank you for, you know, being really truthful and being very honest with yourself first and then with others, and being trusting enough to release and surrender the situations in your life, the people, the places, the past events that don't fit the transformed fifth dimensional you. Now, some of the lovely, you know, we often talk about Ascension and we talk about all the horrible symptoms and the exhaustion and the downloading and the intense dreams and the dietary changes and allergies and all that stuff. But I think it's important as well to remind ourselves that there's great benefit, and now that we are actually living, embodying, physically anchoring the 5D frequencies, we can see benefits from that, and we can see where all our labor and focus and hard work since 2012 is paying off now, and I can really see that. I feel that I'm at a stage in my life where I'm doing work that inspires me, using my manifestational tools. I've been able to carve out a living experience, a lifestyle, a way of being here that really blends well with my circadian rhythms, with my passions, with the values and skills that I want to share with the world. Because I'm a healer, I'm a shamanic, angelic healer, I'm an angel channel, I'm a meditation teacher, but I'm also a special needs teacher, and I work with children all the way up to teenagehood, helping them to learn in a very open-minded way, letting them learn in their way, letting them explore the world through their eyes. And I really think this is a wonderful shift. I can see this because I've been in the special needs arena for many years, but I can see a shift in the collective, in that in the past with special needs community, I felt that there was this very negative 3D concept that we need to fix them. We need to fix this child. We need to change them and hammer them in to a shape that they're not naturally turning out. You know, this thing of, well, if we can normalize them, socialize them. And that never sat well with me, to a point where working in mainstream schools just wasn't an option for me, because I don't believe that anybody needs fixing or normalization. I mean, I'm not normal. I don't really know anybody who is normal. But I'm all about embracing the uniqueness of your individual soul. And I believe, I've always believed this, that children with special needs are masters, and they're master teachers, and they have taught me way more than I ever could teach them. And it's very important that we allow everybody in the world to express themselves in their unique way, and not try to tell them to walk a certain way or talk a certain way or express themselves only this way. You know, the reason that those unique traits and characteristics and expressions of what people call special needs make some people uncomfortable is because it's outside the box. It's this soul saying, you don't get to dictate to me how I be in the world. You know, you can't put me in the box. You know, my path and my soul's vision for the way I'm going to be here as a human being in the physical experience is so strong, and I'm so stubbornly sticking with that because I'm here to show you that there are other ways of being. There's other ways of learning. There's other ways of expressing yourself. It doesn't have to be the rote, learned, conditioned way. And, you know, from the different people I've met throughout my work, I've learned I've learned incredible new perspectives on life from working with these children. And I actually recently I was on the bus and I saw a young woman who I used to know from a place I used to work, and I haven't seen her for many years. And she looked at me and I said hello, and she said hello, and I said, do you remember me? And she said, yes, I do. And I said, I remember you. And she opened her arms. I mean, I haven't seen this young woman for many years, and she embraced me and she said, come up and see me, come up and see us. And it left a lovely impression as I walked away, and I thought, wow, like, she's got no ego. She's not afraid to be rejected. She's got no baggage, you know. And this particular young woman would be on the autistic spectrum, as they say. And she was so loving and open and tender. And I really loved that vulnerability. You know, it was a very authentic vulnerability. Yeah, so I didn't expect to go on that tangent, but that's where we've gone with that. So the other thing that I've noticed, back to the topic, is I don't feel the need to talk as much. I don't feel the need to explain myself. I don't feel the need to verbalize in detail what I've been doing with my life, or explain a problem I'm having, or, you know, go into the backstory, go into the details of it. I don't feel the need to do that anymore. Now, I've been feeling that for the past maybe 2 years. I've never been a typical woman who, you know, I know women, we're well known for our backstory. We like to go into the details. We like to, you know, we're very visual. We're very observant. We pick up the details, you know. And Tony Robbins talks about this. I saw one of his videos, and he calls it the meadow report, because he says it's a leftover trait from the caveman days, where the women would have to go into the meadow and know which berries to pick and which, you know, fruits to feed the family. So they had to be very observant and know the details of things so they wouldn't poison their family. And they would go back to the other women in the cave and tell them all the details and all the important information about, you know, what fruits were available and what to pick and what to avoid, and, you know, all this kind of thing. And we're left with that in our psyche, that we like to share. We love to to go into great detail with explanations and trying to connect. It's about connection. Now, I love sharing. I am definitely somebody who likes sharing. But what I'm talking about is I've never really been that typical female where I need to ring my girlfriends every 5 minutes and fill them in on every detail, or, you know, well, he texted me now, or he didn't text me, or, you know, that kind of typical female conversation. And I'm not saying that all women are like that, absolutely not, but, you know, there is a stereotype, and there is, and I have seen that. I've seen with my girlfriends, not all of them, but some girlfriends would have that typical trait. And it's connection, it's bonding, it's sharing life, you know, and it's also, I suppose, educational, because we're learning from each other. But I have to say, it's really stuck out in the last, well, pretty much since 2017. I don't want to talk in depth about long-winded explanations. Like if I meet up with a friend who I haven't seen for a few months, I don't want to catch up with all the gory details of what's been going on the past few months. I don't want to talk about my problems. I don't want to... It's like integrating them, feeling the energy, doing the spiritual work is enough. It really feels like enough. I don't want to drag out the vibration, the negative energies, by rehashing and reflecting and rehashing and analysing things to death. It just really doesn't feel comfortable at all. And if I'm around other people that want to do that, I find I'm pulling away. It's like I'm not invested in the story. I'm not invested in my story anymore. I realised, that's just an identity that my ego wanted to cling to, that you are such and such, and this is your, this is your identity, this is your story, this is your characteristics. And it's so limiting to be stuck in that story. And I have to say, when I'm witnessing other people stuck in their story now, it's really uncomfortable, because I can see it for what it is. I can see that they're actually just perpetuating a vibration, and they're keeping this negative momentum going, and also they're just using up energy, really precious life energy, talking about what has been, what is complete, what is done. So yeah, I just don't feel the need to be around people who are very stuck in their story and very attached to their problems. They carry their problems around almost like it's a pet. They put it out on the table and they stroke it and they brush it and they feed it. I've been able to learn to move through my problems quicker. I find the fifth dimensional energy is much quicker at processing and integrating and digesting experiences. And I find when I'm interacting with people who are still in the third dimensional mindset, that very limiting, as I said, that attachment to drama, it just doesn't jive with my energy anymore. It just doesn't. I used to have so much patience for people. I could sit with a friend and they could talk for hours and hours and hours and go over and over and over the story. I don't have that patience anymore, and I actually feel that's an upgrade. I think that's a good thing, because actually what my angels were saying to me was, you're not helping yourself because you're getting drained, and you're not helping them because you're actually encouraging a negative pattern in them. So you actually empower yourself because you save your energy, and you empower them, you save them energy by not being a sounding board and not engaging in that intense discussions, just analysing their lives to death, instead of actually feeling all the feelings, which is not a talking experience. Feeling out your energy is not an intellectual, logical experience. It's a feeling experience. It's going into the emotional body, and it doesn't involve words. I just feel that in the fifth dimension, we're moving more into vibration and frequency, and words and the analytical mind doesn't have such a big prominent place here that it had in the 3D world, and I am very happy about that. I feel life is easier. I don't feel the need to explain everything to people, let them, have them understand where I am and all this kind of thing. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. I am where I am, and as long as I'm self-aware, conscious with myself, and feeling everything and integrating and doing my inner work and my meditation and keeping my path clear, that's really where my energy and focus is, which is so liberating and wonderful. And not to feel any guilt or obligation to engage with 3D concepts of sharing and caring and, as I said, encouraging people to stay stuck in their negative complaining or negative attachment to old stories and worn out, events that really have no bearing or no power in the present moment. So I hope that this information can correlate with you on your journey, or that it's helpful to you in some way, or got you thinking. Maybe you can reflect upon the what we've discussed here, and put your